Not sure if any of you can relate to this, but as the younger sibling, I always would watch my brother play video games. But the first game that I truly remember as a core memory from watching my brother play will be Batman Arkham Asylum. In 2009, the game came out, and I was around 7 years old and refused to play the game because of how terrified I was of it. My brother, on the other hand, loved the game, so with him playing, I wasn't as scared to indulge in the video game watching experience. But this memory was brought back up in my life when the game Suicide Squad to Kill the Justice League finally came out. We saw the Justice League under the control of Brainiac, but the scariest of them all was by far the one, the only Batman. So I started thinking, Batman would make an absolute terrifying horror game, and that also includes the fact that he has various villains that fit that mold, but even Batman himself could fit the mold as well. For starters, the most beloved and easily the most known villain in Batman history has to be the Joker, a villain with a creepy but bloody smile. The Joker plays this game with Batman, this cat and mouse game that proves that if he isn't killed, all that will happen is the repeat of the same thing over and over again. Carnage, killing, capture, escape, repeat. Joker's lack of care for his own life and others is bone-chilling. His antics make for a perfect horror game character no matter what side you are placed on. If you are on the side of the Joker, one of his henchmen, safety is the furthest thing from your mind. The Joker himself will do whatever is needed to get a leg up on Batman and would sacrifice you in a heartbeat to finish his master plan. Shoot, he would even just sacrifice you to get a laugh out the fact that Batman couldn't stop him from ending your life. On the other side of things, you don't even need to oppose the Joker. You just may be in the wrong hospital at the wrong time, maybe in the wrong city block, and you find yourself caught in this sick cat and mouse game involving two people that are way above and out of your pay grade. Two people that, no matter how you slice it, create horror with every step they take, striking fear into every last person in the city they live in, and it's all for just a laugh. Speaking of fear, one villain fits that mold perfectly: the Scarecrow. I must admit I've had plenty of nightmares about this one, a villain that could send toxins through your body via injection or even just skin absorption is pretty scary as a prospect. Dr. Jonathan Crane is a psychiatrist and master chemist who invented a hallucinogenic chemical compound called fear toxin, taking on one of the scariest costumes, in my opinion, one of a scarecrow, a lifeless object made to scare away crows from corn, turned into a costume that would strike fear into everyone. His obsession with fear would be the most terrifying part of Scarecrow being a horror game character. Trapped in a hospital, hearing the scratching of needles sliding across the wall. He's coming. You look at your wrist and you see that you're strapped down entirely, unable to move. You struggle trying to move, but it feels as if your sleep paralysis demon is slowly approaching as the scratching on the walls continues to get louder and louder until it stops. You peel your hands free and get to your feet just to see a person, no, a creature standing in front of you. Hands that look like they have needles attached to the fingers. You look up at the face, and it's nothing better. He stabs you with his fear toxin and then allows you to run for your life. Every corner you turn, you see your worst possible fears, but all while this is happening, the Scarecrow stalks you, walking slowly to your location. Every single turn you take, you see your scariest and most deep thought nightmares. Every last corner has something you fear deep down inside. If it's fear of heights, fear of the water, fear of spiders, to even watching your family crumble to dust, every single thing that is horror filled in your life, you can see right in front of you. And eventually that person, the Scarecrow, the one who stalks you slowly but surely, will eventually catch you. The Scarecrow is the one who will finally fulfill every last fear you have in your mind. Now this type of horror game would send chills down my spine, but the crazy part is the Scarecrow isn't even the scariest in my opinion, and that could possibly be Batman himself. He could make for an even scarier horror game character than some of his own villains. Suicide Squad to Kill the Justice League proves this to a certain extent. Batman's usage of the shadows and his jump scare capabilities is only one portion of what makes him so terrifying. Imagine this. You're in a room full of henchmen protecting an entrance to your boss, that being the Joker, Two-Faced, maybe even Black Mask, any of them you could possibly think of. But then you hear, oh shit, it's the frickin' Bat. Just as you hear this, you can hear the sound of a grapple snatching up the henchman who just uttered those words. In almost an instant, you can hear a sharp metal-like object smack into the wall as you hear this odd beeping sound that continues to get louder and louder and faster until it eventually completely stops. The entire room is overcome by silence, but then at the same time would be overcome by darkness, and you look around, gun in hand, but all you see is darkness. Until one by one, the other henchmen's gun muzzle flashes go off. One after another, you can hear the screams of your partners getting dragged away, hung up, or flat out knocked out. Until there was no more screams, no more flashes, no more noise. Only the darkness, only the night. He is Batman. You get dragged by your ankle through the darkness all the way until you see one thing. One thing. You see the Batman, eyes glowing red. Your eyes slowly adjusting to the darkness as you can now see the symbol of the one, the only Batman. Batman has you cornered, and you only have a couple choices. That's to give up the information and get beat senseless, or get beat senseless, tortured, and still end up giving all the information that he needs. Batman's use of the darkness, use of the night, being able to drag in and out, being able to appear out of what seems to be thin air is terrifying. Something that a Batman horror game would make you feel to the very, very end, putting you in the lens of more or less the villain, the henchman trying to make money maybe for your family. Maybe you don't even believe in whatever this person is selling. The Joker, Two-Face, Black Mask, anybody else that you can possibly think of these high-level villain goons that are just for hire. Maybe this faceless person just paid you a lump sum of money, telling you to do this specific thing. What you didn't know was that you would be on the wrong side of the fight, the wrong side of the darkness when Batman came knocking, and this is now your scenario. Batman beating you senseless, stalking you through the darkness where he lives, where he has discovered what truly it means to be the Batman, and you need to deal with it in his own territory. And the Suicide Squad game may have been pretty terrible, but at least it framed Batman as a terrifying creature. And that's even without the fear toxin. Fear toxin, especially in Arkham Batman, has made for an insane prospect of what Batman could be to these other villains. Batman was scary enough. The shadows, the silhouettes, and just the fact that he would hover over and stalk practically his prey. But this is different. Fear toxin added on top of it would make things terrifying, making for a horror game with Batman as the main star of it, the main enemy at that, as a terrifying horror game to go through. Now, I will be honest, the Suicide Squad to Kill His Justice League game had a horrible boss battle for Batman specifically. That whole fear toxin Batman, you know, him being a giant monster of a being, this giant hell spawn of a Batman is not scary. That's why I always say over and over again that Batman's use of the shadows, the darkness, and his uncertainty, or the uncertainty of where he could possibly be, even kind of adding a proper jump scare factor, is what would make the Batman game, or at least a horror version of it, an amazing thing. So yeah, yes, the Batman game, or a horror game involving Batman or even his criminals that he fights on a daily basis, may never come, but I will say it would scare the hell out of me, that's for sure. But I would love to hear what you guys think. As you can tell by the name, I am a comic casual, someone as a kid who was never super nerdy about DC Comics, Batman, or any of the sorts, and frankly enough, I still don't read, watch, or play enough comic-based games, or DC, Marvel, and so on, to really be this kind of amazing encyclopedia of knowledge about DC, Batman, and so on, and whoever you want to think about. But I am definitely on it. That's the whole point of this channel, is to kind of get my thoughts out there about what I believe, what I think, and also maybe even my opinions on comic books that nowadays I will now read, being that of either Batman based or maybe Superman and so on, and anybody you can possibly think. Now, I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. How would a Batman horror game go? What villains would you like to see in that Batman horror game? And how do you think Batman as a horror game character would actually unfold? What type of game would we see? And what type of prospect would Batman be as a main antagonist as a horror game character? Now, with all that said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I hope y'all continue to enjoy, because I'm going to try my best to get various comic-based or DC, Marvel, and so on content to you as much as possible. And if you do, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Comic Casual out. Later.